Welcome into DRF Sportsbook's betting breakdown. We have an awesome episode on tap today as we're giving you the preview to the college football playoff. Georgia is taking on Ohio State in the Peach Bowl, and TCU is taking on Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl. This is going to be a fantastic first round of the college football playoff. One of the best we've had since 2017, 2018. This is tied for the second lowest all-time combined point spread between the two. Georgia -6.5 against Ohio State. Michigan -7.5 against TCU. So a total of 14 points. The last time we saw something this low was 2018. I believe it was a 2.5 and a 3.5 point spread. Ohio State, Oklahoma was involved, Clemson, Alabama, something along those lines. But one of the most competitive first rounds of matchups we have on tap. And I think there might be potential for an upset as well in this first round. And it's starting with this game. Georgia takes on Ohio State in the Peach Bowl tonight, tomorrow night, whenever you're watching this, at 8 p.m. Eastern. Georgia is -6.5, which you might think is a little low for Georgia, the defending national champions. But I'm here to tell you that I think Ohio State is the play. Ohio +6.5, Ohio State +6.5 is 100% the play, because according to every advanced metric, Ohio State is the better team. Ohio State is second in EPA overall. They can exploit the Georgia weakness, which Georgia's one weakness, if you can call it a weakness, is their pass defense. They rank 23rd in the nation in EPA per play allowed on pass plays. So Ohio State can take advantage of that. And let's not forget that Ohio State is a few plays away from taking down Michigan in the game. Everyone watched that game. We can all agree that Ohio State dominated the first half, and Michigan was able to pull away in the second just by kind of grinding that game out. Ohio State also has the edge with skill players and quarterback. I'm not sure I'm all in on Stetson Bennett. Yeah, he won the national championship last year. Sure, he was a Heisman candidate. I'll put quotes around that this year somehow, some way. But I don't think he's as good as CJ Stroud. I don't think the Georgia team skill players are as good as Ohio State's skill players. Ohio State has some of the best skill players in the entire nation. And then the only thing that I think Georgia has the edge in, outside of their defensive line, which, I mean, they're going to stop Ohio State's run game, but Ohio State makes their damage. They do their damage through the air. Ohio State averages over 9 yards per pass play this season, which they're going to continue to do that against Georgia here. And you can see some of the stats. The only thing that Ohio State doesn't have the edge in defensive line and coaching, and I don't think coaching is as much of a mismatch as we may think. So I just don't see Ohio State spotting Georgia an entire touchdown in this game. It is Georgia's defense will provide an insane challenge for Ohio State in this game, as they're the 8th best defense in the nation. But, I mean, Ohio State's not far behind. Ohio State defensively, they're 11th in EPA per play this season. They're 11th in EPA per game. So they're not a far cry off of the 8th best defense in the nation in Georgia. And like I said, Ohio State moves the ball extremely effectively through the air. Ohio State, per pass play, they're 4th in the nation in EPA per pass play, and Georgia is 23rd in the nation in defensive EPA per pass play. So Georgia is +6.5. Georgia is -6.5, and I think the play is Ohio State +6.5. You see our power line over on drf.com/sports. It thinks this is more of a pick'em, and it doesn't believe that Georgia has what it takes to cover this game. I will say I believe Georgia wins. If you're betting the money line, I think Georgia wins. But I think this is a fantastic game that goes down to the very wire. Kind of two extreme heavyweights in the college football landscape going to be exchanging knockout blows time and time and time again. Georgia's the more experienced team. They've been here before. We all know that. They took down Alabama last year to win the national championship. But I think Ohio State has what it takes. They have the explosive playability to beat Georgia, but at the very least, they should cover plus 6.5. I'm all over Buckeyes plus 6.5. We'll talk about some specials at the end of this episode that I think that provide some value. I'm not saying they're going to hit, but I think they provide a lot of value. So